Eliminating a layer mask. So we can enable and disable a layer mask, meaning I disable it, I can view the layer without the mask. If you look at the example I have here, I have a layer and then I have a layer mask, which is masking out the background of the flower. If I want to disable it, I have many different methods that I can utilize to disable. The long way would be to go under my layer menu at the top and find layer mask and choose to disable. When I do that, I get a red X over top of the layer mask thumbnail indicating that it is disabled. I'll undo that. The second method that I can utilize to disable a layer mask is actually to hold down my Shift key and click right on the thumbnail. That's probably a little bit faster. And Shift click again will enable it. So I'm toggling between an enable and a disable. The last method that I could do is actually right click on top of the layer mask and choose to disable. So I can use any one of those three methods for enabling or disabling my layer mask. Photoshop always will display a red X over the layer mask thumbnail in both the layers panel and also if I double click, and let's turn this off, it'll also show it in the properties panel for that layer mask. How about removing? So I'll turn it back on here. How do I remove a layer mask? So I can do a couple of things. Number one, I could apply the mask to the layer so it becomes a permanent part of the layer. And by doing that, I would just choose apply. Again, I could go under my layer menu and do the same thing. And now that I have applied it, I have permanently deleted the background. So once I close this document and lose my history states, that background is gone. I'll undo to get back to my starting point here. So I could apply the layer mask and that would get rid of the layer mask because it's being applied. I could discard the layer mask and its effect completely by selecting that layer mask, making sure that it is active and using my trash can. It'll ask me here, do you want to apply it before removing it? So I could either apply it or I could delete it. And there it's gone. So a couple of things to think about. If you have layer masks, they do increase the file size. So this Photoshop file will be larger with layer masks. So if you're working on a multiple layer document and you've been experimenting with layer masks, you have some that you have a layer mask on a layer, but you're not it's not enabled. You're not actually applying it. So you have a lot that have, say, a red X through it that it's there, but you're not using it. If you know, in fact, that you're going to not use that, then go ahead and get rid of it because it does increase your file size noticeably. So something to think about. But it is fairly easy as you're in the editing stage to enable and disable a layer mask.